Well, in the words of Caleb Peck, I've had it. I'll tell you what I've had. I've had it with these brakes on this Mini Countryman John Cooper Works. It's got these dual piston calipers. And the brakes are squeaking. I can't get it to go away. I put some EBC track pads on this, yellow stuff track pads, okay? And then they started squeaking. I pulled them apart. There was a bunch of crap jammed in the middle of pads. So I cleaned that out, put them back together. It was still squeaking. So I thought, well, maybe it's just these pads don't like these rotors. Bought new pads, put them on. They're more like OEM style. Those worked for a day. Then it started squeaking again. Then I pulled out the pins, cleaned all those up, tried greasing them up. That worked for a day. Then the squeak was back. Then I pulled them out, cleaned them off, tried a different type of grease, and they're squeaking again. So I've had it. And I picked up some new pins and new brackets, and I'm gonna try that. And if it doesn't work, well, I'm out of ideas. I don't know. Moment of truth. Come up to a stop sign. Yeah, they're not squeaking yet, but that doesn't mean anything because I've done this like 5 times now. Either pulling the pins out, greasing them up, cleaning them off, trying different grease, trying without grease. I mean, all sorts of things. And it will work for a day or so, and then it just comes back, squeak comes back with a vengeance, so we'll see. I'm gonna get out here and stand on them. Okay, it's never done it when I've been hard on the brakes anyway, so I don't know if that's an accurate test. Usually when I'm just coming up to a slow stop, like coming up to a stop sign, I'm not hearing it yet. I think I heard a squeak. You gotta be kidding me. This is so frustrating. I've had it. And there it is, the freaking squeak. What is going on with these things? The only thing I haven't replaced at this point, twice, is the rotors, which are brand new. Just replaced the rotors with the pads. So I don't know if it's just that these rotors do not like these calipers or something like that, because they've had different pads on them at this point. This is super aggravating. You guys have any ideas of what these squeaking my brakes? Let me know in the comments, because this is super annoying. I'm back working on the mini brakes and I have not had luck at all. I'm going to try out this stop squeal. You're supposed to rub it on the pad and let it dry, and supposedly it's supposed to help. But I've tried everything. I've tried new pads. Well, I guess I haven't tried everything, but I've tried new pads. I've tried new pins and hardware. Cleaned everything out every time. Doesn't matter. I've even tried different pads. I put the original pads back on, which were not the original, but the upgraded EBC yellow stuff pads, which I have on the rear, and they're just fine. It's only the fronts that squeak. And it's not like a grinding sound, it's like a high-pitched, toned sound only when there's a certain amount of pressure. So I'm gonna try the stop squeal. Cross my fingers that it actually makes a difference. And if this doesn't work out, I'm not exactly sure what to try. I could try new rotors. These are Zimmermans, and the rears are Zimmermans with yellow stuffs, and it's had no problems. So it's only the front, but granted, these are 4-piston calipers, the John Cooper Works, but these brakes are supposed to be rated for John Cooper Works. Done brakes tons of times, never had problems like this, so this is insane. I've probably changed these now like 5 times, not totally changed them, but you know, cleaned them out, greased stuff up, tried new hardware, tried new pads, everything except getting new rotors. And they stopped just fine. It's really just this high-pitched squeal. And the sound has been much worse with the yellow stuff pads over the Brembo pads that I tried. So I'm not sure if it's just the compound mixed with these kind of plain lower end rotors that aren't slotted or drilled, but stock OEM don't have slotted or drilled either, so I'm not exactly sure. This has been insane. What's crazy about it too is every time I take it apart, I clean it out, I check all the hardware, make sure everything's tight to spec, all that. I'll drive it, test drive it, it's just fine, no squeaks, I'm good. And then the next time I drive it, it's back to squeaking. So I'm almost at a loss. I mean, I'm feeling the rotor. I know it looks like it has a weird wear thing here, but I mean, it feels super smooth. There's no lip on it. So I have no idea. This might be a complete fail. If you guys have ideas, throw them down in the comments below because I am out of ideas. And I gotta get this fixed. It's driving me crazy. So supposedly the way this stuff works is you kind of drench it on there and then you let it sit for like 10-15 minutes. I don't know if it's just filling in gaps or kind of adding almost like a liquid shim to it. You know, that's the other thing too, is I had these shims on the back, and the shims go back on the back here, and they plug into the calipers, but to install them, you've got to take the whole caliper off instead of slide them in. So I tried, one of the times I've done it, I've tried just taking them off so I could access the pads easily and pull them in and out, and that didn't make any difference. For better or for worse, it's the same sound, same experience. So like I said, the brakes stop really well, they work great. It's just this high-pitched squealing sound that's terrible. Moment of truth, I'm gonna hit the brakes. This is where they usually squeak to a grinding halt. Okay, no squeak, but that doesn't mean anything because I've been here before. Oh, not even an ounce of squeak, which is great. But how long will it last is the question of the day. Oh my gosh, this is pissing me off. Why? We are back in the garage with another episode of Ty's squeaky brakes on this Mini. They're still squeaking no matter what I've done. Tried the stop squeal, that helped for like a day. Just like everything, once it wore off, start squeaking again. So I have got yet another set of rotors. I'm gonna throw them on. We'll see if we have better luck. The rotors we have today are from Stop Tech. These are drilled and slotted rotors. So the rotors I currently have on, front and rear, are Zimmermans. They're non-slotted, non-drilled rotors. They work fine in the rear with my EBC yellow stuff track pads. I haven't had any issues with the rear, but the front are the ones that are squeaking. And I have a theory that it's because these are the John Cooper Works brakes that have the 4-piston calipers, and it gives more pressure on the rotor, giving nowhere for the brake dust to go, and so it's causing it to squeak because it's not a grind, it's a squeak. So my theory is these cross-drilled and slotted rotors will fix that situation, so we're gonna give it a try. Now I realize where my theory breaks down here is that the OEM rotors on this car were just plain rotors. They were not cross-drilled or slotted, but it also didn't have track pads on it. I have tried different pads. I tried some Brembo pads that are more OEM style. Those squeak less, but they still ultimately squeak. So everything's been replaced, from the pads twice to the pins and the hardware holding those on. The shims, I've adjusted those. I've tried the brake squill, no avail, so I'm going back to a new set of rotors. We're gonna try that. And if this doesn't work, I'm out of ideas. It might be the calipers, I don't know how. And that would be a lot more expensive problem. So I'm hoping that this solves it. So let's slam these on and give it a try. Try number, I don't know what we're on. So I can already tell that these stop techs have more stopping power. Imagine that. Well, no squeaks yet, but we've been here before. Swally's calling me right now. What up?
What up?
What's going on, dude?
Dude, just rocking out to a little face-to-face, driving home from work.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh, this is pissing me off. Why?